Hello all, welcome back to more unproduced nonsense on the Will I Like It Reviews channel. Today we're going to talk, guess what? We're going to talk Star Wars because we haven't talked about it in about 6 or 7 hours, and I can hear myself in the background, which is bad. Today I have two very special people. One you've seen quite a bit lately, and one uh, we owe a lot to for future. Probably the next produced piece of footage you'll see on this channel has a lot to do with this next gentleman. Um, he goes by the name Ryan Chattaway. The channel name is also Ryan Chattaway. He has this little thing that he's been doing for 5 years. Ryan, why don't you tell us about that for a little bit?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it for your viewers. The actual footage that he's talking about, don't let him fool you. He actually hacked into my security system in my house, and it's footage of me in very inappropriate. Anyways, um, sorry, sorry,
No,
but
it's fine. I'll blur the special parts out. It's all right.
oh, okay, okay, but it might cover the whole screen. No, I'm just joking. Never mind.
Just like a tripod between the legs.
But anyways, yes, for the past 5 years, I mean, technically I think it's 4 years, I've been doing the 24-hour movie marathon challenge here on YouTube. I created it like five. I mean, I guess we just did the fifth one, but I think technically it was 4 years ago. I think but just wanted to do something fun to get the community together. Around the time period that I did it, there was a lot of drama going on in different corners of like the YouTube film community and like the horror community and all these people. There was a lot of drama, and I was like trying to stay out of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. So started that, and it's been going ever since. And not everybody does it, but we actually have more fun ourselves doing it and having loyal viewers actually watching them every year, and it's pretty cool. Like, and I know Luke could probably say the same thing. Like every year, we get the same people commenting. People that don't really make videos, but we get like legitimate comments from people that we remember the first year they actually commented on the videos. Like we have people that don't make videos that actually watch those videos, and that's really what it was all about, bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
And you might actually have some of my deleted scenes on that security footage that you have of my house. So, but but anyways, yes, that is my channel. That is what I do.
Well,
And
amongst other things, I mean,
yeah,
you don't just do marathons every day. Also, I just want to let you know that you wanted to avoid drama, but I found my way into this, so best of luck in the future with the drama, because I'm going to do one now, and God, I come with 5 dislikes with every video I make, so, yeah. No, quite an enthusiastic film fan. You actually do quite a couple of other things. You just did the Godfather marathon. You just watched 1 and 2, which technically I wouldn't call that a Godfather marathon. That's a 2/3 marathon. But
but
most people don't like.
technically, I actually watched 3 earlier today, so I should have
Okay.
filmed that and just waited. But
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah. A more complete piece, sure. Um, but yeah, I got through all of that. That was a lot less than your full marathon, which I'm almost done with. Um, and you just do like general vlogs, right? You just for the most part you're a regular old school YouTuber by the
Yeah,
definition of what an old school YouTuber would be. Just vlogs, and then you have some special stuff.
yeah. I mean, like everybody kind of that started around that time period, and people that are in the movie community. Like I was inspired at first by people like Cool Duder. He was like my main
Hmm.
inspiration to starting YouTube back then. And then at the same time, I met Robbie Webster around that time period. He did a lot of vlog type stuff, and so I guess you could say, their channels really had a lot to do with how I proceeded, like in my channel, because in reality I've done vlogs in real life for years, like for a long time. I've
Hmm.
made videos for like family members and stuff like that. And that's what I've always been into. So I was like, man, now I could talk about movies and do vlogging. And over the years, it morphs in between me just doing a bunch of movie stuff and then doing a bunch of vlogging stuff. But the past couple of years, I've really tried to bring them both together. And, especially with technology nowadays, when I first started my channel, I filmed my videos on, I think, like one of the first iPhones that came out, and the picture quality is terrible. Now, most of my videos that I do when I'm outside of my house, some of the marathon footage that I did for the video, this year's video, and all these vlogs, they're all done on my cell phone. So, which is awesome. It's very convenient. So now that I have a good phone, I'm trying to do the best of both worlds in terms of film and then just the everyday vlogging. And but with some computer issues, I've actually kind of been slacking on the edited content instead of the but we'll get back to that eventually.
So this is the man behind the myth, behind the legend. So for those of you who are watching on my channel, in the future, like I did it already. I did the marathon. It's about watching 24 movies. No, it's about watching as many movies as you can within a 24-hour period, right? Without going to sleep. But not many people do that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the first year I did it to where it was just a 24-hour period. And then I got a lot of comments from people saying, "Man, I would love to do this. I just, one of the guys that I was really close to back then, Razman was one of them. He couldn't physically do it for 24 hours straight because of, he's in a wheelchair and he has some disabilities and he can't physically do it. And there was a couple other people that were like, dude, I really want to do it, but I work 12 hours a day. It's just not possible. And I was like, okay. So I made up a new thing where you could do it, do the requirements and stuff like that, but you could split it up if you need to. It's because to me, it's just all about the participation. I don't care if somebody watches one movie over 24 days or something like. I mean, I don't really care. As long, like at this point, like all I want is people to participate and have fun with it. 'Cause that's really what it comes down to. Yeah. And so, every once in a while, people are like, well, technically, you shouldn't let certain people do it, and all these people do it if they're not doing a full 24 hours. And I'm like, dude, I mean, who am I to say they can't have fun with it? And that's really what I want to. That's what it's about. Having fun. This isn't,
Yeah, and it's not even like there's prizes or anything. It's not like any competition. Like theoretically, somebody could. I mean, like I have scripted stuff that I'm doing that I'm shooting like today, tomorrow, like next week. That's not a part of the actual thing, but it's going to be presented as it all happened in that same time. But like, who's to say that just because it's in the spirit of it, like just because someone's doing something a different way doesn't mean that like it's just so strange. Like there's no reason to complain or like people. There's a lot of people that like have work. They do a lot of stuff. 24 hours is it's insane. It's just it's not the spirit. At least that's what I perceive. It's not the spirit of the thing. It's just about getting people together and trying at the very least.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, I would love it for some people if they could do it in a 24-hour period. But to be honest with you, like for instance, like Luke does it, and he doesn't do it like in a 24-hour period. He does it over the course of a few days. But they spend all day watching movies and they exhaust themselves and they watch a bunch of different stuff, new stuff, broadening their horizons and all that stuff with film. That's what it's about. That's what I like it when somebody tells me, I watched this movie for the first, like for instance, Luke and his marathon, Gone with the Wind. He saw Gone with the Wind, loved it. And, it's a movie I've always loved. That's what I like seeing. People that really are not into certain kinds of movies, like watching a movie and then all of a sudden they're into it. That's what it's about. And plus, it's just about having fun anyways.
Yeah, spoiler alert, that was me this year. I watched Seven Samurai for the first time this year, and it actually kind of turned me on to Kurosawa. So you right here in the flesh, I'm a walking, talking example of that. It's and Luke, you watched that with me.
Yeah.
Kind of offended how I reacted to it, right?
I was quite pleased with that.
Yeah. Luke's like, so, huh? I was like, yeah, it was all right. Oh, right, what are you talking about? Yeah. So, Luke, obviously you're here. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the chat.
Thank
You
you.
also take part in this. You've done it every year. The marathon 5
Yeah, I think
or 4 years, five marathons.
I think I've done it every year. I mean, I don't really. It's hard to remember. I think I don't really make a big deal out of it or anything. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the marathon. It's awesome. Everything Ryan said, I agree with. It's just pretty much verbatim. It's just an awesome thing.
indeed, indeed. Yeah, so there we have Ryan here. That was a bit of a milestone there, 5. I don't know where your sub count is, but you might be due for a little tribute someday, Ryan. That's a little bit of a warning. Not saying anything's on the immediate horizon, but you've done well for the community, sir.
Instead of it being Operation False Hope, it'll be Operation New Hope. I don't know.
Well, that backfired anyway for him. So onto things that make us happy. So
Yeah.
we're here to talk about Star Wars in general. Kind of where we think everything is as far as the future, what we have right now, and how it compares to the past with like the current climate. Even though we're kind of in limbo right now, this is kind of the calm before the storm. That is, the late summer months where you start getting a lot of teasers and talk, and the Rogue One around the corner. Before we get into all that stuff, just guys, if you could let me know what your what your ranking of the original 6 was going into Force Awakens, and then what your ranking is either after immediately seeing it, and if it's changed, what's happened. Just give me your personal storyline leading into Force Awakens and the time following it. Ryan, we can start with you.
All right. Well, I guess with me, I guess of course, Empire Strikes Back. So you want me to do like a full-on ranking, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay. Empire Strikes Back has always been my favorite. It's actually the first Star Wars movie I ever saw, so that was like my first exposure to Star Wars. So I had that going for me. It wasn't until after I saw Return of the Jedi that I actually saw A New Hope. It's because
you saw 564, huh?
Well, when I first rented them from Blockbuster, for some reason they didn't have A New Hope on VHS. Like, it was all checked out, and so it was, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll get the next one. So I watched those two before I even saw A New Hope, and but anyways, after that it goes A New Hope, at number 2 is A New Hope, and I'm kind of at a place to where 3 could either be Return of the Jedi or The Force Awakens.
No. Before, give me your 6 before Force Awakens.
Oh,
and then,
okay. Well, no, this is before. This was before.
I just knew it.
I was setting unrealistic expectations. So, okay, before. So it had been Return of the Jedi after that.
Okay.
So at number 4, I would say it would be a toss-up between, let me see, Revenge of the Sith and it's kind of more controversial choice, but I would say maybe Attack of the Clones, and then Phantom Menace last. I love those movies. They're filled with flaws and they're different than the other ones, but I like them a lot. But there's things about Attack of the Clones that I fell in love with the older I got.
Okay.
Like in terms of viewing it and how awesome there's some aspects of, or that aspects of the movie are. So that's pretty much where it's at.
Okay, so Ryan going into The Force Awakens was 5, 4, 6, 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Okay, and after you saw Force Awakens?
After I saw Force Awakens, it was pretty much the same, but like I almost kind of hinted to. I would say when I walked out of The Force Awakens, I was like, okay, that's like my favorite Star Wars movie next to Empire Strikes Back. And of course, that's pretty normal having that kind of a reaction to a movie like that
Right.
after multiple viewings, and just kind of letting my feelings on the movie just kind of mellow out, and I get it ingrained in my brain to where I'm almost sick of it, which I'm not sick of it, but after all that, it would settle probably a tie at number 3 with like Return of the Jedi,
Okay.
which is saying a lot. And I would actually probably even say I think it's a better movie than Return of the Jedi. So
Yeah, definitely.
that'd be, I would say it's probably at number 3, and Return of the Jedi's zonked down to 4. I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm at with it.
And has anything changed since December to now with any sort of up or down with Force Awakens?
No, I would say just it settles right there, and I think a lot of it is because of the emotional power that The Force Awakens had on me, like in terms of how I felt watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Since the movies came out, I fell in love with the score. A lot of people criticized the score when it came out, and they said it wasn't anything crazy good. Since then, it's now one of my favorite Star Wars scores, and I listen to it all the time. And so, yeah, I love the movie, and I'd put it up there with the original trilogy in terms of how much I like them or love them. So
I agree.
I mean, I'm wearing a hat, for crying out loud. I love the movie.
Yeah, the thing you said about the score, that's a pretty paramount place where people come from. A lot of people really aren't that impressed with the score, but I feel like it's something that kind of, I wasn't, it didn't stick out to me either after that first viewing, but I could say the same thing for Revenge of the Sith. A lot of the stuff after hearing it a couple times really kind of simmered with me. Like the score when Obi-Wan and right after Obi-Wan cuts Anakin and he's there at the bottom of the gravel, that score behind that has really grown on me, and it's way up there for me now. And it's stuff like that, like Luke, how to play the walk up the steps at the end of 7 on guitar, and that little, like, it just grows. It's you don't really realize that maybe Darth Vader's theme wasn't that big a deal in 1977, but the reason it's such a big deal is because we're sitting on 35 years of hearing it, so it's got to grow, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that Rey's theme is going to be 15 years, 10 years from now, is going to be just as good or just as mainstream in some ways that the Force theme and even like Darth Vader or the Empire theme is.
Sure.
Because to me, Rey's theme is probably, and that whole arrangement surrounding like that melody and everything is one of my favorite scores written in the last like 20 years. There's something about it. It reminds me of like I could see like a Miyazaki film being scored with that theme, or like even like a Kurosawa film. Like it's so it's just the way it flows. And John Williams, being as old as he is now, still has it. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely. Yeah. And he was even a little sick during that. It's well, Luke, let's hear yours. Your 6 before Force, and then
well, before it would be 5, 6, 4, 3, 1, 2, and that's kind of been the same for years. And then after The Force Awakens, it would be 5, 6, 7, 4, 3, 1, 2. Like I kind of ran down my ranking last time. I think we were talking in some stream, but yeah, I mean, when I first came out of the cinema with The Force Awakens, I was like, damn, that's like the second or third best Star Wars film. Like, and then again, like Ryan said, maybe that's I had to kind of sit on that for a bit and think, is it really? And then you kind of mull it over again, go and see it in the cinema another 3 times, and then now that it's out on Blu-ray, rewatch it again, and yeah, and I just again echo pretty much everything Ryan was saying. I think Ray's theme is just such a great piece of music and is used in so many different ways throughout the film. Like at the beginning when it's first there, it's kind of just quiet. Well, not quiet, but like it's fairly low key, but it has that kind of sense of adventure to it. And then by the end, when the Falcon flies through the clouds and she's going towards the island, it's such a rousing, whoosh, and it just really picks you up. It's a great piece of music. Yeah, that's my ranking. Yeah, Force Awakens, it's my third favorite. I think A New Hope is better. I think Force Awakens is better than Return of the Jedi, but I just prefer Return of the Jedi for specific reasons, nostalgic reasons, I suppose. But yeah, that's where my ranking sits right now.
And did anything change over the course of time?
Yeah, well, I wondered how it would hold up at home. I really did. I thought maybe, I've been building it up for myself, The Force Awakens, for so long. I've made all those videos for like 2.5 years, and it was almost like, man, I'm gonna look like an idiot if I don't like this film. So I had to kind of really think, right, will it have the same impact at home? It didn't, but it kind of did. It wasn't as amazing of an experience. I don't think it ever will be, but it still got me emotionally in parts. So yeah, I guess seeing it at home just made me think, yeah, I didn't really overestimate it when I first saw it. Maybe a little bit, but not much.
Yeah. Shakespeare says that the prequel scores are probably the best aspect of those films. I would agree with that. The music really sticks out. There's not much to uh, no matter how you feel about the prequels, the music really was incredible for those movies. I mean, the Duel of Fates. If you never see a frame of the prequels, Duel of Fates is its own thing at this point. So, like the original trilogy, you have the iconic things like Darth Vader, Luke, I am your father. There's a bunch of iconic stuff from the original trilogy, but the prequels, at the very least, you have the music. And like I said, at the very least, the one track, the Duel of Fates track, kind of became its own beast. So, I don't know if it bothers people me saying that, let's not talk about a frame. It's all about what you hear, but it really is true. It's kind of a big deal. Patrick Holmes, my rankings: 4, 5, 3, 7, 6, 2, 1. Patrick, The New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith. Wow, The Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, Attack of the Clones, and Phantom Menace. That's an interesting mix. I've never seen that. Interesting. I have a hard time watching the prequels when I can watch the other 4 great films, especially when I need to catch up on movies and TV shows that I haven't watched in my collection. Yeah. So, Luke, you and I have discussed it quite a bit. I actually had you on for one of my Defends live commentaries.
Yeah.
But Ryan, I don't know how well in tune are you with the anti-Force Awakens movement here on YouTube? If not, and if so, how do you feel about it? What do you think?
I'm aware. I'm aware of it, but and I've seen some people talk about it. But I just have always told myself, like, I don't know. I'm at a place sometimes with those kind of people, and really that kind of leaks over to other fandoms as well that I'm a part of, or that I'm fans of. Is that I try to stay clear of those people, of the negativity, especially when they start really nitpicking about stuff. Like if somebody generally just does not like the film, and they give me great reasons why they didn't like it. I mean, I'm not saying great reasons like, oh, it has to meet my, my reasons. I'm not saying that they have to like say it a certain way. But if somebody gives me an educated response or an educated answer about why they didn't like the film, I'm more than willing to watch their video, and just agree to disagree with them.
Mm-hmm.
But when people after watching some of your stuff that you've been doing lately, when people say stuff like, when you're getting into the just straight up, and I have thick skin, I don't really get offended by a lot of stuff, and it doesn't really, but when you start saying stuff like, you know, she's a woman, blah 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 blah, and and when you start going down the road and saying that the best thing about her was her wardrobe, like, that's the kind of stuff I stay clear of, because, okay, dude, stay 10 feet away from me at all times. If I don't want to talk to you, because I don't. So I'm like that, and I try not to surround myself with that kind of stuff, and so I just kind of stay away from it. I don't go search out those videos and comment on them with like huge responses, because in reality, some of those people that I would respond to or make responses for, they would look at my comment and just say, "Oh, he's trolling my channel," and then his followers were attached to me like leeches and thumbs down my video because I just respectfully disagree. And when you go down that road of talking about all that stupid crap, I don't get into that, and that's how I am with fandoms as well. Just a little, not a little side tangent, but like I'm big into Doctor Who. I'm a huge Doctor Who person. But when people start talking about like the showrunner sucks and the old one was so much better, I stay clear of all that stuff because that's toxic to me. I want to talk about the things I love about it, not what everybody wants to, Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of my little opinion of it. But yes, I am aware that there's. I mean, of course, not everybody's gonna like every movie, but I am aware that there is a huge, a small group that likes to make themselves seem loud.
Yeah.
That to me, like, I'll be straight up. People could not like this at all, but I just don't agree with an idiotic person. Like, there's some people that are just straight up ignorant. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
No, you're right. You're right. It's to not like a movie because of the lead is a female. That's not movies. That's your political view. If you have something wrong with it should never be about like sex or race or anything. You're watching a film. I mean, unless of course it's a non-fiction story. It's a fictional story where it's characters that are written. Like, what does it matter what color, what sex? It's not about what you're looking at. It's about like what you feel when you're looking at it. And if you feel that I don't like this because it's a girl, then like you're not even focusing on what they're trying to tell you with the story. Like, it's just so strange that like they think that that's a valid reason to not like a movie. And even if it was this Mary Sue thing, all right, so it's a girl that can't do any wrong. Like, what? Hey, guess what Superman is? It's the same fucking thing. It's a guy who literally can. It's nearly impossible to break him down. Like, it's just so strange that most of action cinema in all of time is basically the exact opposite with men, and suddenly like they're trying to do a story with a female. P.S. Not the first time. Ellen Ripley, quite a big, strong character in science fiction. But again, that's not a reason. It's like you said, idiotic. All right, so what about the story didn't you like? Oh, because she's a girl, and she can't do anything wrong. I would argue that emotionally she's got a lot that she's not doing very right. She's not very strong emotionally, but
And that kind of ignorance just like really makes me mad, because like if I was watching a video or I was talking to somebody in real life and they were like, "Oh man, the best part about the movie, I mean it sucked, but the best part was her wardrobe," and I'd be like, "Dude, you know what? She did have a great wardrobe. It's a hell of a lot better than what you're wearing. What are you doing?" Like, I just don't deal with with that kind of person, you know, all that well. I don't mind. I mean, because technically ignorance is really just when somebody's uneducated in whatever they're talking about. Sometimes people are ignorant that they're not mean-spirited. They just don't know any better. The ones that I can't stand are the ones that are obviously trying to be that. Yeah, I can't say it because I mean it's just they're trying to be an asshole. They're trying.
Yeah. Well, especially on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing of it is that it's such an easy, like, Star Wars is like one of the biggest things in the world, in terms of pop culture and what everyone's talking about on the internet. And so it's such an easy thing to get a lot of attention from when you're saying how much you don't like it. And like I said before, I'm sure that factors into it somehow, with some of these videos and stuff. And, oh, it sucks, it's the worst movie ever.
Jar Jar Abrams.
Oh my God, Jar Jar Abrams. Yeah, and like these people make these videos, and the topic of the video is never why are so many people watching this movie. It's not why are the ratings so good. It's just here's what I want to say. Like if I hated a movie, and I figured that there's no reason for anybody to like it, and it was doing incredibly well, I'd be like, well, all right, well, I'm on the outside here. I wouldn't be so confident in my opinion, especially on the internet where like you're kind of talking to a massive group of people. I finally spoke to somebody last night who actually hates The Force Awakens. He feels like it's the least good. He actually says it's actually a bad movie. And this is his standpoint. This is the first time I've had an educated opinion on why somebody doesn't like it. His type of film, he prefers things like, he told me one of his favorite movies is Thomas Crown Affair, Talented Mr. Ripley. He likes slower stuff, like figure Spotlight, something like that. Slower stuff where there's a lot of exposition, a lot of dialogue. And there was three of us. There was me, a friend who does like it, and him. And he was going off about how much he hated it. And he said it was a bad film, even as far as filmmaking is concerned. I said, well, hold on a second. You like characters who talk, this, that, the other. How did you feel about Rey when she looks over at the woman when they're scrubbing, and she has this gaze in her eyes, and with those 3 or 4 shots, you get that she doesn't want to do that, like she's afraid of that becoming her life. And his thing was, yeah, why not show me for 10 minutes why? Have a little side story as to why she doesn't want to do that. This is a guy who doesn't like the fact that it was fast, and I can actually understand that after getting through it a bit. That I understand, and like it's the first time that I've actually been able to wrap my arms around it and be like, okay, it moves too quickly for him. He actually he for lack of a better term, he kind of wants a bit of a Kevin Smithening from his Star Wars. He would like it to be a bit more talky. He said the best thing about A New Hope was it was more talking. There wasn't really any real action for about the first 50 minutes or so. And you don't really think about it, but he's right. There is more talking in A New Hope than there is action. So it was finally valid. It made sense. It wasn't I hate girls. It's just like the old one.
Yeah, I mean that is one of those things that's like agree to disagree kind of situations, but you could respect the person for that opinion. It's not like which is awesome. Like that, I'm all like, while I don't agree with certain things, like
sure, it's his taste.
Yeah, it's just but
it's when they start to project it onto you and say, why do you like it?
Yeah.
Or how can you like it because I don't like it? That's when it starts to get a bit too much,
Yeah, or go ahead.
Yeah, carry on.
It's or like we've said this a couple times now on the channel. When somebody says, "Oh, it sucks, it's stupid, it's just like Episode 4." Okay, so you're saying you hate Episode 4 then? No. Well, so then it doesn't suck then. Either you hate it because it's like episode 4 and you hate episode 4, or it's a good movie, but it's just not incredibly fresh to you. Like you can't like just I like a cheeseburger, but I like a hamburger. I'd much rather have a cheeseburger. I understand there's a lot of similarities. I understand there's a lot of pieces to it. I wouldn't say that the cheeseburger sucks because I don't know. I've said some variation of that complaint so many different times before.
I'll tell you one thing that after I watched it again at home that I realized that I didn't really like about The Force Awakens was Max von Sydow's character, Lord Santeca. Character's great, his acting was great, but what really bothered me was his outfit. Like, it was just so boring throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
For a second, I actually I was like seriously looking at you, like I believed you, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I didn't think his outfit was all that bad. Oh wait, oh, and the fact that I'm like, oh wait, yeah.
No, that's another aspect that we could probably touch on. I mean, there's a lot of these videos where the first video of my series, the guy says Leia was boring throughout the whole movie. You're like, what did she have? 4 lines? Like, what do you? All right, like even if you grant them that, all right, so you hated the movie because of Leia, huh? All right, and what did you do for the hour? They just
contradict themselves all the time.
Yeah, like what did you do for the hour and 20 minutes leading into that? Were you twiddling your thumbs waiting for her before you could finally have an opinion about the movie? I don't know. There's like nothing to grasp on.
First of all, Leia wasn't even in the entire movie. That's like where I'd like, dude. I mean, the reason why she bored you most of the time is because she wasn't in a lot of it. So I mean, were you imagining her or something, and she wasn't talking? I mean, like I said, I understand when people say about it being, some people that are like, oh, it's a remake. It's a remake. I don't think it's a remake, but there is some similarities. But I think that's intentional. Like what Luke said in his videos, and about like George Lucas at times saying it's like a poetry. There's a poetry to it. There's I mean, he could explain it better than I can, but it's supposed to actually have these. I don't know how to put it in words, but Luke could probably do it better. But there's supposed to be like some things that remain the same, or you come back to, like it's a big cycle. Yeah. And this, I don't know. That's just. I mean, obviously, it's to me, it's not really a remake because I could nitpick all those remake opinions and just kind of not destroy them, but just kind of say to myself like, well, yeah, the droid does have something significant, but technically, wouldn't it be a remake because Han Solo was wearing pants? Like he wore pants in the last one. I mean, of course, the droids are going to have something significant because that's what they do. They have information. They store information. Like, oh yeah, it is a remake. I forgot about Rey talking about how she wanted to join the Academy. I forgot that she actually really wanted to leave the planet, when in reality she was actually hesitant to actually leave the planet because she wanted to wait for. So like, I kind of go that route, and I kind of add my little smart-ass kind of comments onto it.
I do the same thing. Like, oh yeah, where was the Jedi? Excuse me, where was the stormtrooper that defected in A New Hope? Because that must have been a deleted scene or something. Because I don't remember that part. That remake.
I love the part where he's like the junk dealer's like, that's worth, let me see, 1/4 portion, and then Rey's like, 1/4 portion. Well, I want to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
Yeah.
There was probably some deleted scene where like you had Poe Dameron and Leia, and Poe's like, right, I'm getting this map for Luke, and what should I do if there's like any Imperial entanglements? And she's like, oh, great trick. If you just pop it in a droid, just.
Yeah, it's right, and I've used this as far back as I can remember. Back to the Future 2. There's a bunch of Back to the Future 1 in Back to the Future 2. It doesn't mean that like they're doing it for a specific reason. Like it's just because the Manor scene is in the sequel. That like, does that mean that they're ripping it off? No, they're like, they're providing fan service. Well, Go ahead, Luke. You were gonna say something?
No, I was just nodding. I was agreeing with
Oh.
you.
So a lot of people who have common sense. The thing is, it's a third. It's a third of a trilogy. You're comparing, one part to a lot of it is being compared to a complete trilogy. What do you guys feel? Let's just say if all this gets fanned out, if we find out who Luke's Ray's parents are, we find out everything, and for the most part, it's a complete story. They might cliffhang in episode 8, but if they fan it out and have a complete trilogy, do you think maybe some of the people will either be satisfied or quiet up or something?
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because it's was I forget who it was. I saw someone do a video where they were like, oh, this isn't good storytelling because it's not a complete story or whatever. I don't know. I mean, were people really? It's hard because I'm sure when Star Wars came out in 1977, the first thing on people's minds was like, right, what's going to happen in the next two? It wasn't a trilogy of films wasn't as much of a thing back then. Whereas now it's like, I think they announced it, didn't they, back in 2012? We're doing another trilogy.
Yeah.
So it's you should know. Obviously there might be some casual movie watchers who don't know that it's a trilogy, but what's the fun in telling a story over 3 films if you give everything away in the first one? What's
Right.
there to be revealed in the next one and the next one? I mean, you can still do it, of course, but it gives you that. I mean, for me, I'm so excited for 8 because I don't know the full story yet. It gives you that extra level of anticipation, and then all the speculation that goes along with it, of course. So
I would say that, some of the people that might be disappointed in the writing and like the storytelling, like the thing is, I think there's just going to be some disappointed people either way. That core group, I would say, even like, I mean, there's going to be that group that are just going to hate on 3 just to hate on 3, and because that's just what they're going to do. There's probably going to be some people like, well, I don't like how that turned out. I don't like how they did. I'm like, well, technically, you didn't even like how it started. So, I mean, what do you mean you don't like how it turned out? So, I don't know. I think, but I personally think that overall, people are probably going to enjoy how everything is, written. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Okay. So if you had to have a crystal ball of sorts, knowing where like this internet thing isn't really it's not the majority of people. We know that. They're just the loudest. They're the squeaky wheel, so to speak. How do you guys feel this when it's all said and done? If you had to predict based on what you feel and where you think it's gonna go, where do you think this will lie? Trilogy versus trilogy versus trilogy.
I don't think that you'll ever see the majority put in the original trilogy anywhere but the top. Even if they nail 8, they nail 9, and they're 3 amazing films. You can't that the original trilogy is on a pedestal, and it just ain't getting knocked down anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely, I mean, just based on how strong Episode 7 was, how much faith I have in the new cast, the old cast, the new director of Episode 8. I'm sure that we'll see it being ranked original, sequel, prequel in terms of the trilogies. But it's interesting because I read this post about the new Battlefront game, right? It's coming out next year or something, and they're like, oh, they might include stuff from the other trilogies. And there was all these comments of people going, why won't they give us the prequels? We want the prequels, damn it, And there's this outpouring, I think I talked about it before, of these prequel fans who are coming out of the woodwork since the Force Awakens comes out, and it's like, oh, this isn't what George Lucas intended. It's just so funny how it flips,
Mm-hmm.
the opinions. And the prequel trilogy was so hated for so long, and it still is. But there's now a lot more people seeping out saying, oh, the prequels are great.
Do you guys think that maybe there's something like maybe not the fans of the prequels, but maybe the people that were, the prequels were their time.
Hmm.
Do you think maybe there's some sort of like bastard child, some sort of jealousy type thing where, they lived in a period where their Star Wars movies were hated and just picked on, and then here comes this thing out of nowhere that's made by a guy who's not even George Lucas, and so many people like it, and maybe it's just a wait, no, new Star Wars is supposed to be hated, and this is what we're supposed to do, almost like a jealousy thing. Do you think maybe there's anything to that?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. What do you reckon, Ryan?
I mean, I think, there's probably a few people, that probably feel like that, but, I think in a way, the prequel trilogy, that was a lot of people's trilogy. Like, of course,
Sure.
we all grew up with Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
but the prequel trilogy came out. I mean, I don't know how old you are, CP, but like I know me and Luke are around the same age, and like we were younger when the prequel trilogy came out. So in ways, that can be considered our trilogy because it was in theaters at the time that we were growing up, and
Definitely.
by the time the last movie came out, we were, by Revenge of the Sith, I was already in high school. So meanwhile, when Phantom Menace came out, I was probably, still in elementary school.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
I think that's a good point, but I don't think there's as much of a. I personally don't think there's a bunch of like jealous, angry, I don't really see that right now.
Okay.
Maybe,
Sure.
I personally don't. I've never came across it.
Sure. It's fine.
But I could see where people would maybe feel like that. Maybe people that that were introduced to the prequels first before they even saw the original trilogy. I could see that, but I haven't ever come across that. But I can see why people probably would. But kind of back to what Luke was mentioning, where were some of these people that are now coming out about the prequels? It should have been more like where have they been the last 10 years?
Right.
I saw this thread, right? I saw this thread on this website where it was a whole thing dedicated to how the prequels did lots of practical stuff. And there's like hundreds of images of behind the scenes, like, look, see, practical set. Like, it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. Hundreds of these images, and they're like, see. It's like, oh, okay.
Like, why weren't you same trolls commenting on me and Luke's videos that we've made in the past 4 or 5 years, saying, "Great, we like the prequels too."
Yeah.
Like where were you guys? Because it seems like sometimes we get people to just say, "Oh, I hate the prequels," and now all of a sudden the new movie comes out, and now it's, "I like the prequels. They are the ultimate. Hayden Christensen is my hero."
I don't think anyone has ever said that.
I'm not a Christian. I'm a Hayden Christian. I'm just like, but at least they're speaking out now. But it's kind of like, dude, where have you been?
Well, we're all pretty safe to say we're all pretty excited for what's coming up in the future, right? Well, eager, I guess, is a better word to use.
Yeah.
Kind of curious to see where the story's going.
I'm excited. I don't really set any. I love pretty much everything that comes out anyway. So it is what it is. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like I'm looking forward to episode 8. I'm looking forward to Rogue One. I'm looking forward to the Han Solo thing. I'm looking forward to Adam Sandler's next movie. I'm looking forward to everything. Like that's just where I'm at.
Michael Bay, sure.
Oh hell yeah!
The eternal optimist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, what I don't know how much of the rumors you guys look into. What sounds appealing? What do you think's crazy? What would you kind of like to see happen of the stuff that you've heard as far as the future's concerned?
I'll let Ryan go first while I think about it.
I heard a rumor that Ron Jeremy was going to be in it. No, I'm just joking. I didn't hear that rumor.
With Wet Movie 1.
Yeah.
Oh.
The little double cameo.
Yeah. Yeah, episode 8, Operation False Hope. But I haven't really heard a bunch of rumors per se. Like, of course, like who's playing who, and is Luke, really Rey's dad and all. I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. But in terms of like rumors, like I haven't really heard anything. But then I haven't really, like sought them out, because at the end of the day, it's not really official until it's official.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Did you hear the rumor before The Force Awakens came out, and this was like 6 months prior, that the film was going to open with Luke Skywalker's hand holding onto the lightsaber floating through space?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
There was a rumor that that was the opening shot, and everyone was like, "Oh no, that's terrible! Don't do that." And Mark Hamill recently confirmed, like a week ago, he was doing some interview in the UK, and he said that was the original intro. It was going to be Luke Skywalker's, cut off hand holding lightsaber, rolling through space, and then going into the atmosphere of Jakku, I think, and the hand melting away, and then the lightsaber hitting the thing. And he said it was scary how accurate the leak was, because it was what he read. Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, some of this stuff maybe isn't so crazy.
One thing I want to mention that I just realized, have you remember when they announced, that the movie was going to have like a new fanfare over the Lucasfilm logo?
Yeah.
Remember that it came out and they actually showed, like on YouTube, you actually could go online and listen to it. Did they just decide not to do that? Do you? I mean, obviously it's not in the film, but I remember like they announced stuff saying that was going to be the new thing, but then they didn't end up.
I think the thing with that was that they just released all the 6 films on digital download for the first time, and they made a big thing about like Star Wars, the digital collection, and everyone was like, "How are they going to open the films because it's now Disney releasing them instead of the Fox fanfare?" It was a Lucasfilm logo and like a little 10-second medley mashup of Star Wars themes, and it wasn't that good. So I don't know whether people would prefer that or the silence that we got with The Force Awakens, but yeah, I guess they didn't end up using that. The new little sting of themes. Yeah.
I was really hoping that they were going to, though, because it was interesting having the Lucasfilm logo come up, but the theater be silent.
Yeah. I jokingly said that they should just throw like some money at Fox just to use it for no reason, even though like it's such a bad idea. But just I want that. It's just such a great kind of, this is a Star Wars movie,
I should have just taken my phone out and just like played the fanfare over it in the theater. And then if everybody clapped, I'd be like, "Can I have some money, please?"
So there's one thing that I read that I kind of I don't know how I feel about it, but I think as far as comparable to a Luke, I am your father type thing, and the fact that I know it wouldn't be that much of a surprise, but I'd be really interested to see how it plays out. There's one thing where Kylo Ren is actually like a double agent of sorts, that Luke trained him and sends him off, and Kylo Ren is actually a good guy, and that's why he has such a hard time killing Han Solo, because he has to do it because he doesn't want to break his cover. And I don't know, apparently there's some sort of parallel where Kylo Ren is good the whole time, but we only find it out late, and I guess Rey ends up going bad, and then there's like a switch. The little bites that I've heard sound really, really interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. It would be on. I think at least it would be pretty on level with something like finding out that Darth Vader is the father of our hero halfway through the first trilogy.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I remember hearing that when the film came out, just as far as fan theories go, and there was this thing going around before the film came out on Blu-ray that, if you actually look closely enough, Han Solo's the one who presses the lightsaber button. He kills himself, and there's like a whole pages of theories about it and stuff. I mean, You watch the film, that's not the case. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly, if you look at the film, but then there's that scene where he's by himself and he's saying to Vader's helmet, "I feel it again, the pull towards the light," and but then there's something they keep making something about the fact that Kylo has equal. You want to say something?
Just if with that in mind, Vader was bad and goes good, so maybe that's why he's looking up to Vader, because he technically is a good guy. So like, maybe that's why he's looking to Vader, because he's had experience in the dark side.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, like, I'm trying to stay away from the stuff, kind of, it's kind of tricky. But with The Force Awakens, I heard that Luke wasn't going to be in it until the very end. I heard that the last shot of the film was probably going to be this big camera shot of Luke and Rey. And yeah, it was true. But I mean, when I saw the film, it didn't really impact that at all, because it was amazing. But and you can never be sure as well, I think, with a lot of these rumors. But I'm trying to stay away from them just in case. But as far as that goes, I don't know. It's interesting. I definitely saw some things in Rey where she seemed to be losing her temper a little bit. Not a lot, just these slight things. Like when she when she finally cuts Kylo down. No, it's not when she cuts him down. It's when she's got him staggering backwards onto the floor, and she kind of paces around him, and she's got that kind of aggressive look on her face, and it reminded me of when Luke cut down Vader, and he was about to kill him in Jedi. So I don't know, maybe they'll explore that route. It would be very interesting if they did, but there's so many ways they can do it, and I think that if they were to go with some kind of Rey and Luke thing with Rey, I am your father. People are going to take a shit on that. They're going to take a dump on that. That's not what you should do. I think that he is her father. There's many other ways they could go about it, but I don't think they should try and go down that kind of big reveal thing when the seeds have already been planted quite a lot. Whereas in Empire, it was out of nowhere. If you look at it from a perspective of watching it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I hope they're talking about Tarantino in the chat. Ryan, what are you looking forward to? Ryan's going to take off in a couple minutes, so we'll just stick with Ryan for a little bit. Luke, if you don't mind. What are you excited about in Rogue One? Would it bother you if it doesn't show anybody from 4? Like, as a Star Wars fan, do you need to see Darth Vader or any sort of anything, to be a good movie for you?
Me personally, no. I don't really. It doesn't really matter to me either way, because I already have it within myself that unless it's David Prowse actually as Darth Vader, and it's not. I'm gonna, even if they go with somebody else. It doesn't really bother me. What I'm excited for is that it seems it blends a couple of my favorite genres of film, which is heist and war. I love war films, but just the trailer, when the trailer came out, I saw it and I was like, okay, well, they're going for the heist kind of thing. But then I also saw some of those scenes of the AT-ATs walking and stuff, and it looks like a full-on battle scene. I was like, okay, we're gonna finally get a cool battle scene that was kind of promised to us for Attack of the Clones. We had thought we were gonna see the Clone Wars themselves. Yeah. And of course, I was disappointed when we didn't actually see a bunch of Clone War battles per se. We saw little clips of certain things, but I don't know. I'm just, really optimistic about that. Plus, Gareth Edwards directing it. Godzilla was one of my favorite movies a couple years ago. I'm a huge fan of Gareth Edwards, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of Felicity Jones as well. Forrest Whitaker. So I think if taking all those things into consideration, throwing Star Wars into the mix, that's awesome. Whether it comes out and it's kind of a mixed bag, I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna enjoy it unless, something really stupid goes on.
Well, you just alluded to it, that there's a bit of a heist element to it. this is something that Disney does with their Marvel movies. They have like little side genres in their great big universe there. Is there anything you'd like to see them incorporate into future side Star Wars movies, like maybe I don't know, a Star Wars horror movie, a Star Wars comedy,
That is really interesting. I mean, I could
Something
see
I've
them.
never thought about.
I could.
I mean, you think about it, like this heist thing is it's not, Star Wars is, sci-fi action adventure, so this heist thing is actually a new angle.
I could see them doing. I could, of course, come up with like a fan plot of a horror movie, like instead of Camp Crystal Lake, it's Camp Alderaan, and it's like somebody, like somebody's mad that somebody's murdering people because um, somebody maybe Peter Cushing in A New Hope had a kid. And he was like, man, I'm so mad that my dad got blown up on the Death Star. And so he's the one murdering. Like, I could see them going somewhere with that.
Or have it through Source Bantam's eyes. Just all the young Jedi, they're trying to get away from Anakin. Little side story, their horror movie in Episode 3.
Yeah, I mean...
3 younglings.
The stalk and kill of Anakin Skywalker as Jason.
Camp Alderaan in the last shot of the film is a big green light. Oh, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, instead of everybody, who has sex dies, like that's how it is in like horror movies.
Uh-huh.
Basically, anybody who ever picked up some power converters dies, or something stupid like that. It's. I could see them doing that. A comedy would be really interesting because it would really have to be somebody who could pull it off, like in terms of making it feel Star Wars, but having it completely, comedy, but not being. Yeah, it was funny. Spaceballs is a better almost comedy for that kind of genre. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it'd be funny to see. 15 years ago, it'd been funny to see like Rodney Dangerfield like cracking jokes in a cantina somewhere. Like that'd be funny. Or yeah, yeah. And
courtroom drama.
I would
in Star Wars universe.
God, that would be awesome. A courtroom drama
Yoda
written
versus
by
Yoda.
Aaron Sorkin. Like
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. So all right. So
you want the.
How much time do you have left, Ryan?
I could, go another, 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, so like, just give me a dream scenario, dream writer, dream director, dream setup. Aaron Sorkin writing a, Scorsese directed episode 10.
Yeah, because Aaron Sorkin is probably like my favorite writer in terms of him and David Mamet always kind of switch off as like whoever's my favorite actual writer for like a film script. I think it'd be awesome to see. It would be awesome to see him write Aaron Sorkin to write a script, and then David Fincher, like a courtroom kind of thing, like you said, with David Fincher directing, but doing it in the style of how he did like Zodiac, something like that. Heck, but even then, like I'm thinking A Few Good Men, which was created and written by Sorkin, directed by Rob Reiner. Like, I would think it would be awesome to see a Sorkin movie directed by somebody like David Fincher, or even like a Martin Scorsese. But they have to have the line, "You want the Force? You can't handle the Force." But in terms of dream scenario, it would definitely be like Aaron Sorkin writing it, because I'd want it to be a dialogue-heavy, slow-moving drama. Like, even if it's just, two people sitting in a bar, and they're having a conversation about, the politics of it all in terms of the Empire taking over and all this stuff. Like, that would be appealing to me, because that's the kind of stuff I'm into. I love long pieces of, written scene. I love those long, drawn-out scenes, and like that's what I like about Tarantino. But to me, Aaron Sorkin is a little bit more in terms of like how his writing is. It's really back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, instead of just being like on one.
Oh yeah.
I like it the pace of the writing itself.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be cool.
No, I agree with you. Sorkin stuff is it's more of a it's like a tennis match between two people. There's a bit of a back and forth. Where Tarantino, it's just
all
one guy.
I mean, which is cool, and I like that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But to me, like, as much as I love Quentin Tarantino movies, I think like the opening scene of The Social Network, you know, where the breakup scene in the bar or whatever, that is like one of the best written scenes in terms of like dialogue, like back and forth, and how the dynamics through the conversation changes. It'd just be awesome to see that kind of stuff in a Star Wars movie.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, I jokingly said to Luke a couple of years ago that Force Awakens should have opened with Han Solo in a bar, and you know, I completely forgot how I actually said it now, but it'd be cool to have him like in a bar, like, hey, you want to know what really happened? You know, like somebody mentioned to him, hey man, I heard you didn't shoot first, and like he just, I don't know, I forgot like how I said it at the time, but I remember saying it'd be cool to like have a shot of it opening in like a cantina somewhere with an old Han Solo.
It's so funny that you said that, because they released a couple of books before The Force Awakens, and it opens like that. It's Han Solo in the Force Awakens era in a bar, and someone's talking about the Millennium Falcon. He turns out and says, "You want to hear about the Millennium Falcon?" It was almost exactly as you said it, like a few years ago.
I feel like somebody probably hacked my phone.
What about you, Luke? Dream setup?
I'd like to see like Homestead Alone, where like we have like a young like Luke, you know, back at the homestead on Tatooine, and we have maybe like Greedo and the he doesn't like you guy, like, you know, trying to, you know, rob the house, and Luke has all the
Ballskin man.
Maybe we could have Richard Linklater write and direct a film.
Ooh.
We could have Younglinghood, where we basically see all the boring parts of Anakin's life.
I want to turn this entire stream off right now. Younglinghood.
In all seriousness, like I remember a few years ago they said something about like they were thinking of doing some kind of Seven Samurai kind of thing. That would be an interesting kind of story to go with. You could put a different twist on it. Maybe a bit too on the nose with the fact that we have Magnificent Seven and everything. I wouldn't mind seeing a film about maybe a young Palpatine and Darth Plagueis the Wise. But I don't really. I off the top of my head, I can't think of any like specific writers or directors who I could. It's so hard to imagine, you know. I mean, even before The Force Awakens, it's like, how is this going to come across? But you know, I don't really have anything really seriously specific.
I'll take something from you, and I mean, a lot of people. I mean, it probably gets brought up maybe once a day in general fan circles, but you know, everybody was talking about Tarantino. If they could get him down to a PG-13 and let him direct something, just to see Tarantino's style in the Star Wars universe would be quite interesting. I mean, first of all, it probably wouldn't be a very Tarantino feeling film, because he has that musical style that he always has, and you know, there wouldn't be the leaning on certain types of songs. I mean, I guess
the whole film would just be.
But whistling. It'd have to be a whistled version of that. Yeah, to see a Mexican standoff in Star Wars would certainly be an interesting setup. I don't know, but.
And then he wrote the line that says, "Yeah, you guys thought Han shot first. We all shot first."
I don't like you either. Tarantino would never do it with all the digital effects. Well, you know, J.J. Abrams just proved that you don't really need the digital effects as much as you use them to help a shot. It's not like Tarantino. What's that?
I'd like to see Steven Spielberg do it, and then he could bring in John Williams to do the. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I can see that. with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. That actually. Yep. Yep. Oh, pretty close to what it would be if Lucas was still going. Pretty close. So Ryan, before you go, what do you see for the Star Wars universe? As far as we'll stick with 8 and 9. Based on the directors, do you have any sort of my big thing leading into this was it's a different director, J.J. Abrams. Are we nervous? Are we not? Well, Ryan, how do you feel with Gareth Edwards and Colin Trevorrow? I'm assuming Colin Trevorrow is probably a bit more of a question mark.
Well, I mean, it really took me forever to see Jurassic World, and my only issues I had with Jurassic World was the script. I thought it was well directed, but so I mean, I think he could do a good. I think he could do a good job directing. Just depends on who's writing the script. I hadn't really been huge into Ryan Johnson beforehand. I've actually had some discussions with Luke where, like I even mentioned, I didn't even think he was probably the right person for the job until I started really thinking about it in the movies I've seen that he did. And then really it came about like when I actually read some stuff and saw him in interviews and just saw how he is. And I think that, it's in good hands. And the same thing with Colin. I was watching some of the special features on the Jurassic World Blu-ray, and just his persona in interviews and stuff like that, and when he's passionate about something, I could see him doing a great job. But the thing is, with Star Wars films, I think it really hinges on who's writing them. I think that's the biggest key, because you're going to have, I think even in some way, shape, or form, even if a good script can make a bad director kind of look good, I guess you could say. And some, or like, a non-popular direct. And if you want to think about it, all the complaints against The Force Awakens, people can, it really comes down to the script stuff. And just because J.J. Abrams' name is connected to that, they're like, well, it's because it's J.J.'s fault. Well, people seem to forget that Lawrence Kasdan is also one of the script writers, and he was, considered a legend in Star Wars universe. People forget that when they complain about The Force Awakens. But I have faith in Lucasfilm itself and Kathleen Kennedy. So whoever they choose, I have to believe that that's what they feel like is the best option.
And I said Gareth Edwards. I meant Gareth Edwards is directing Rogue One.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I thought you were just meaning like
I meant Ryan Johnson. I don't. I don't know. My brain just doesn't cooperate for a bunch of reasons lately. But so Ryan, thank you for poking in. Let us know for my channel. This is literally your first time here. Anything you have coming up? Any reason you should go over and check you out?
No.
See, that 3's enough. He fits right in here.
You guys just go check out my channel, see my past videos. It'd be cool. No, I just like I said,
buddy.
I was gonna say, like, I'm gonna try to be doing these marathon videos like once a month, different marathons, and I'm getting back to my Ryan Cinematic Obsession series where it's I tackle a bunch of different topics in one episode every Friday. I'll be getting back to that, and of course I'll stay with the vlogs and stuff like that. And who knows? I have some stuff that I'm working on in the future that I haven't really announced anything yet, but there's some more serious stuff I want to tackle on my channel in terms of like historical type topics about film and stuff in general. And but anyways, if you guys just want to see somebody who loves film, just subscribe to me, and I will welcome you into the family.
Oh, before you go, it has nothing to do with anything Star Wars, but I stumbled across one of your videos where you're talking about you just picked up like the Uber edition. Well, it's an old video. You had just picked up one of the director's cuts of Once Upon a Time in America.
Yes.
I've never seen that movie. Compare it to Godfather and Goodfellas.
The Godfather, everybody knows, is my all-time favorite movie.
I don't know that. Now I know.
Oh yeah, it's I've gushed over it most of my life.
Oh yeah, actually you did. I just saw your video where you did. Yeah. All right, I'm a liar. I did know that.
And but in terms of if in terms of an epic scope of gangster history and how you go from being a kid into what makes you into a gangster, all that kind of stuff. I would say, and Goodfellas does that too, but I would actually say that Once Upon a Time in America, I mean, I love Goodfellas. I would say it's a 10 out of 10 film, but I would say Once Upon a Time in America blows it out of the water in terms of epicness and scope.
Okay.
But then again, Once Upon a Time in America also takes place over like 60 or 70, like 60 years.
Okay.
And covers so much, and plus it's Sergio Leone, and it's just. But I mean, I think the pinnacle of gangster films is The Godfather, Goodfellas, and Once Upon a Time in America, for their own different reasons.
Mhm.
I would say Once Upon a Time in America though is probably the best gangster movie ever, even though because I consider The Godfather a gangster movie, but I consider it more of like a drama, like just a regular drama, because it's more about the family instead of the actual gangster elements. So that's where it goes. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna have to. I'll blind acquire that one then.
Yeah, and it's a long one. So
yeah. I was thinking of using that as my 180 for your marathon, but I didn't have it. So.
Yeah, the definitive edition is probably like 100 minutes longer than that. But to be honest with you, it feels so much. To me, it's slow moving, but it's also faster paced in some aspects. It does not feel like the length. It's one of those movies that to me feels like 2 or 3 hours instead of 5 hours or something.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Ryan. Well, thanks for poking in here. For those of you watching, it's Ryan Chattaway. That's 2 T's, Chattaway.
At stevegutenberg.com. Not misjoking.
He's also the president of the Steve Gutenberg fan club.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am. Anyways, thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure. It was fun talking with you guys. So thank you so much, and I'll make sure this happens more often.
Yeah, this is just a hello. That's all.
Hello.
Hi there.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then there was 2. All right, so the guy we don't give a shit about is here. So now, so do you think that maybe one of us, or whatever, I didn't get to ask Ryan this. I think we both share in this. We both kind of underestimated the quality of movies like Phantom Menace when they came out, and they kind of wore off a bit. Do you think maybe we're kind of in that haze still, where maybe The Force Awakens isn't that good a movie and we just don't realize it yet? And I can't do this with that face on the whole. How did you find that frame? Jesus Christ.
Well, I googled Saw's Banding, of course I did.
Oh my God!
So it's actually it's a good point. But I can't say that I ever went through that because I watched The Phantom Menace. I loved it. I was a kid, and I don't know. I guess as an adult, I enjoy those films less, but I still really like them. It's a tough one to kind of judge, because when you go to the prequels, when they came out, and now you're looking at me as a kid and me as an adult. Force Awakens, it's me as an adult to me as an older adult. It's the mindset is a lot different when you're a kid. So I don't know, it's a tough question to answer, really. But I don't know. I'm pretty confident in my ability to judge films and why I like them, how I like them, and I don't shy away from saying I love films that people, So no, I don't think that it will change that much, and I've given it that time now. 4 times in the cinema, a couple of times at home now. I'm pretty secure in feeling that it's as good as I think it is.
Yeah, I agree. So maybe the rest. Do you think maybe it'll die off a bit with the rest of America, the world?
Definitely a possibility. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that hype factor where it's been built up so much and for so long, and not exactly like everyone was waiting for 30 years for it, because it really wasn't that clear we were going to get an episode 7 until a few years before it actually happened. There was still that couple of years where it was building up, and then that week it came out, it was just everywhere. I'd see on my Facebook all the people in my circles who don't like Star Wars saying, "Oh, for fuck's sake, all this Star Wars shit, get a life, nerds,"
Yeah,
you just couldn't escape it anywhere. It was so huge, and so maybe people got kind of dragged along with the hype of like, so for some people, yeah, maybe it will die down, and the veil of hype and anticipation might be drawn back a little bit, and the truth might be seen. But
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do? That is specifically for Shakespeare. He did it in the chat. He said the exact line.
There are too many of them.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Yeah, Jim, it's not so much not getting along. It's more of a just if you know the history of why people don't like me. He just a weird lapdog, so to speak. Yeah. So what with these side movies? Well, yeah, it's strange because I always feel like there's going to be some sort of saturation with Marvel and superhero movies, but we're here. We're 7 years in, 8 years in, and it's still kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Do we think maybe it could spread things thin?
I think it will. I think that, like I think we said it before, but I mean, the episodes, even when we had a trilogy in production, would be like 3 years apart. These Marvel movies now, it's like, what, 2 a year at least?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe they'll get to the point where they're doing more than one Star Wars film a year, and I think that'll be too much. As it is, one a year right now, it sounds like great, awesome. Every Christmas is Star Wars time. That's brilliant. But maybe 10 years down the line, I don't know, because I definitely feel like if they decide they do 8, 7, 8, and 9, and then they want to do 10, 11, and 12, I really hope that if they do that, they leave at least 10 years, and don't keep going to that well, because I feel like what makes these episodes special, even the prequels in their own way, is that time away. It makes it feel more important and stuff. And yeah, with the yearly releases, it'll be interesting to see how the fatigue maybe kicks in, or if it maybe doesn't. Like you say, Marvel, they're still making boatloads of money and people are still loving the films. There are other people who say, "Oh, I'm getting sick of superhero films now." And I'll even admit, when I was watching Civil War, for about 10 minutes there, I was just thinking, there's a lot of superhero stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking generally, I'm thinking like, forget the studios, but X-Men and Batman v Superman and Civil War. They're like, then I'm sure there's other ones as well. There's a lot of them. So I guess Star Wars doesn't have that problem. There's not going to be other Star Wars films that Disney aren't going to make.
Yeah.
But, it's its own thing, and I guess people sometimes take a crack at that big sci-fi adventure film, but there hasn't. Well, I guess there's Star Trek, but that's a completely different discussion. But yeah.
Yeah, what's weird, like we were talking about before with different genres, maybe they do something like that where it's just, all right, here's the universe, but here's a comedy in Galaxy Star Wars where maybe it won't make $1 billion, but it might be a success.
Sure.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, the more I think about The Force Awakens, like you could listen, you can want Empire Strikes Back all you want. It's there. It's there. It's not going anywhere. Go watch it. But if you want something a little more fast paced, where they don't really slow down, here they have this movie now called Episode 7, The Force Awakens, where if you really just want to turn your brain off and cruise through a movie, that's what Episode 7 is. It's just a straight through. And like I keep saying, and I don't know, maybe it'll die off eventually. I feel like the camera does plenty of storytelling. But, you know, it too fast for some people, fine. But at least there's that flavor of film for a Star Wars fan now.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you could go with the spin-off movies, which I'm sure they're going to be doing a lot more of. I can't see the spin-off movies not making money, and if they make money, they're going to make more of them. You know, and why not? It is the movie business after all. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. I'd never thought of that. What you were saying earlier, like a comedy or horror or something like that. It's very like it. It's hard to imagine it, but at the same time, it's hard for me to imagine a film like Rogue One, which is probably why I didn't get very excited by the trailer.
It's I mean, it's a heist movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting and intriguing. But I don't know. And what we got Han Solo movie. That's probably going to be just a standard kind of adventure sci-fi. Nothing too different in terms of tone. But what's the? Have they announced the third? I don't think they've announced the third one yet. They've said they're doing 3 spin-off movies at least. There's been Boba Fett rumors, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. I guess Boba. Yeah, it would be interesting to see different styles. I'm trying to think. I guess I don't think drama would work. I'm trying to think of the different genres that they could do.
No, there needs to be that excitement factor. You know, it's another world. It's literally another galaxy. You need to have, something that draws people in. I mean, to have like a, just a trailer full of shots of people talking, kind of, testily at each other, and then Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is about selling it as well. Even like a horror, like how. But again, who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. It's
We have a question. Have either one of you read How Star Wars Conquered the Universe?
No, I have heard of it though.
I have the audiobook. I've listened to some of it, not gotten through it. So there's that. Why do you think it's such a big deal? Why is it? It's like its own. I mean, it's a religion. It is a genuine, recognized religion in some places. Why is Star Wars such a big deal to so many different people?
It's just that lightning in a bottle thing, isn't it? Really, where it just struck at the right time. They always say it that that time in the 70s, America was going through a bit of a slump, in terms of like the things going on in the country at the time, and then you have this big fun movie that just kind of. But then again, that's just for them. There are people now who watch the films and love them, and they have none of that context. But I just think George Lucas, he took from different areas that really worked in their own way. Like you look at Kurosawa films, and then you look at the Buck Rogers films, completely different, but he taken bits from each, and then also injected his own imagination into them. It really is lightning in a bottle stuff. The cast, the way the guys who worked on the effects, it just all came together, and that was the foundation for it all. And all they could do then was try and build on that and continue that, and it's just one of those things that it just worked, and there's no real kind of this is exactly why. I don't know.
But if it were like what you said, that the fact that everybody was in a rut in the 70s, it would be more of a time thing, but like it's still a big deal. People still go crazy for it. People get so bent out of shape. Like people are so fucking bothered that they don't like Episode 7. It's just like Star Wars owes these people something, and like it's just so strange.
I don't know. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. There is none of that context now for people who start to watch and enjoy the films. When I was talking about the climate of America at the time, but I mean, maybe that was part of why it was such a success, at least in small part. And I think that a reason, at least in some part, that it is taken so seriously and everything is because of 1977. The people who saw it then who fell in love with it and then passed it on to the next generation. And the next generation, when you have your parents say, you got it, it's amazing and all this, it rubs off, and then it continues. So I definitely think that, how big it was back then still is trickling down through some of this in terms of how much it means to people. And I guess it doesn't help that the themes in the story are very, well, not universal, but there's kind of mythical stuff in it, and the mysticism of the Force and stuff. And so it's easy to see how people get kind of caught up in the fantasy of it. Like you say, it's a religion and stuff, and just the idea of the Force is something that you can literally just like say, well, you can't tell me it doesn't exist. I'm sure there are nerds like that who, I'm not using nerds in a derogatory tone by any means,
Right.
but
No.
it literally is just like a thing you can't see that is very easy to get into the imagination and spirit of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, another thing that I think that, like how many people bonded over this movie, it represents something more. I mean, how many families just, piled up around a TV and watched Star Wars for, whatever reason to watch it. Oh, me and my family, we watched it over the Memorial Day weekend, and like that's our tradition now. Every Memorial Day we watch the Star Wars, and so in the sequel, it's a new little piece to that. I don't know. Nostalgia is just a really powerful beast.
Yeah, everyone has their baggage that they bring to it.
What would you like to see in 8, 9?
It's tough because when I think about it, I think, right, it would be cool to see Poe and Finn and BB-8, off on some kind of adventure thing, fighting the First Order. Captain Phasma's involved, and while that's taking place, we have Luke training Rey, and then you start to think, wait, this sounds awfully familiar. Empire Strikes Back. Hang on a minute. And then it's like, well, I'd love to see it though, but then it would be another step into that kind of pool of, oh, they're just following the mold. But I don't know. I want to be surprised, I think, is what I can say, and I can't really construct anything in my head that I think would be anywhere close to probably what we're going to get. As I said,
well, no, wait. I mean, if it ends up being Empire Strikes Back, then so be it. But based on what you've seen in The Force Awakens, what would you like to see with the way they set it up? What would you be like? Oh, I'd really like to see so and so do this.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I would like to see, Han get that moment. Maybe a little memorial service, something like that. Obviously, they don't have the body. That kind of emotional acknowledgement for his character's passing. I would like to see a lot of Luke. He's my favorite character. Well, my second favorite character. I would like to see. So I'd like to see more of Snoke. He's a character who interests me a lot, and I don't know where they're going with him. I don't know if it's going to be an Emperor thing, where again we get a couple of holograms, and then they wait till the 9th movie to fully show him. And I think that would probably work quite well. Actually, it would really build up the anticipation. But still, I would like to see more of him, and I'd like to know more of the backstory without it being too. Luke sits down with Rey for 15 minutes and gives it the whole story. Like, just bits and pieces here and there would be nice. I wonder where they're going to go with Finn, because he got sliced up the spine with a lightsaber. Like, is he going to be like injured? Is he going to have some kind of like metal spine or something? Are they going to even touch on that much, or was it just a flesh wound? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think about it. I'd like to see more of Kylo. Isn't it true that he's only in The Force Awakens for like 10-15 minutes, much like Darth Vader in A New Hope?
Is that true?
I think so. At least it's not much more than 20 minutes.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And I don't want to see like loads of him, but more of him. I find his character so captivating. More of him can't hurt. And I know that Maz is in the film, Maz Kanata, and I'm intrigued to see where she will fit into things. I definitely feel like
she's definitely in episode 8. You said?
Yeah, it's been confirmed now. Yeah,
confirmed.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure, because there was a thing about her, wasn't there, where it was like, oh, apparently JJ wasn't happy with it and cut her role down, and then he since went on record to say that wasn't the case, and so yeah, I'm interested to see if we'll have more backstory on her. You know, where did you get that? A good story for another time. ask me in the sequel. That could be a whole movie. The story of the hand and the lightsaber.
Oh God, yeah. That'll be a side story. A Star Wars story. So there's a lot. We talked about the nostalgia, the love for them. Like other than like maybe Harry Potter, definitely Lord of the Rings. Is there any other like franchise that has such devoted fandom like these series, like Star Wars, like Harry Potter, like Lord of the Rings?
Well, I feel like Harry Potter's up there, but then you look at the numbers and The Force Awakens. I don't know. I think of Star Trek, that jumps to mind, but I'm someone who has watched Star Trek, has enjoyed Star Trek, has never really been a quote-unquote fan, so I don't really even know the extent of that side of the fandom, so I can't even, but I don't know. I'm not sure which has the more of the following, but I don't know. It is interesting. It's different. It's different. The Harry Potter thing is different. Lord of the Rings is very different. I don't know. It feels to me like Star Wars is like the biggest franchise, but that's because I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I'm biased for that. It's hard to judge.
What you mentioned it before, Jim 7339 KI 3456. There's he listed off a bunch of franchises, and can anything else ever be like this again? Like, I mean, there are franchises, like modern day franchises are like a book series. Do you think that like they'll ever? I mean, it happened with Lord of the Rings. It happened with Harry Potter. Do you ever think of something like this happening again with a franchise of movies just being a bigger than life thing? Where
it's a hard sell. It really is, because with a franchise like that, you're assuming it's going to have effects, it's going to have a big cast or whatever, so it's going to need a lot of money. The studios want to invest in that kind of thing. You look at Jupiter Ascending maybe as like, maybe not a franchise, but a potential series that kind of got nipped in the bud because it didn't do very well. And they put the money behind it and stuff like that. Or I don't know. It's very hard to imagine, but I guess, it's entirely possible if the right amount of components are put together in that way. It's entirely possible. We see these amazing things happen all the time where like I can't believe that would have happened. In all forms of entertainment and things like that. And so yeah, I definitely think it's possible, but it's really hard to imagine it at this point. You have big franchises like say Fast and Furious, for example, just keeps getting bigger with the money and the people who love those films, but you don't really see a bleed over across the whole year of people always talking about it and always it's not quite that thing where people are, you know what I mean.
It's a really good comparison. Yeah, like people go and see it, but then that's it. Like,
yeah.
All right, that's
fun. It's fun, but then you plug out of it, and then you go back to your day-to-day life. Whereas Star Wars, it's really from first-hand experience. It's something that you kind of invest a lot of time thinking about, I suppose.
So, we'll start closing it down. Off the top of your head, just what are some of the franchises that you like? If for no particular reason, just things that you turn to most. And, maybe if you have a reason why, that'd be great too.
Yeah, well, you were thinking about doing that idea with the franchises, which I think would be really cool.
I think that's a very close future thing.
Yeah. Right. For me, let me think. Growing up, it was Star Wars. I suppose Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings are the two other big ones. But for me, and it's the same with Star Wars. I go through phases into them. And it's safe to say that the Star Wars phase over the past couple of years has lasted a lot longer than it usually does. I mean, there was periods of years where I just didn't watch Star Wars or think about it, but then you always come back to it, and it's always like, oh, I love this. And it's the same with Harry Potter. That's big fan of the books and the films, and I go through very smaller Harry Potter phases, but I have such a love for that series and Lord of the Rings. Love the book, love the films. I suppose it really says something about me that these are all sci-fi fantasy kind of elements, things that are really outside of the realms of reality that I guess I enjoy escaping into.
I'm sorry. I just thought of something, and I can't get over it because I forgot. In my talk last night with two of my friends, we were talking about why he didn't like Star Wars, and the fact that in Force Awakens it's an incomplete story, and it just hit me right now when Rey and Kylo fight. Kylo doesn't really attack her. He more he holds her off, so to speak. And what if that is what happens, that he's actually a double agent?
It's funny because when people started talking about that, they were like, "Oh, it would just be like Harry Potter spoilers for the next 3 seconds. It would be just like Snape at the end of Harry Potter, that kind of a deal."
Yeah.
No, I think at this point, anything is kind of, well, not anything, but within reason. There's a certain amount of things that could happen that are within fair game that could work. I mean, there's certainly not everything is spelled out for hardly any of the characters in The Force Awakens, especially Kylo. So I could definitely see it. It's just very interesting. I mean, has he gone too far at this point, killing his own father? Will he take it even further in the sequels? Will he kill Luke? Or I don't think we could ever see him killing Leia. I mean, I think that would be too much, just for like kids to see. There seems to be a certain dynamic between when you switch the sexes around. Maybe I don't know. It just feels harsher to me to imagine that. I don't know. And then does Rey turn? Does Kylo come back to the good side at the end? There's lots of things they can do. What do you think?
I don't know.
What you like you said, you're thinking, what if? I suppose.
The more I think about it, the more it's like, there's something to it, and it's not. I guess to me, it's not that terrible idea, and I think it's kind of alluring to me, the idea of Kylo Ren actually. I mean, it would make what he's doing in Episode 7 so much more interesting to me, and his struggle, his like you brought up him talking to the Vader mask, like, fuck, he's really in it if that's the case, and he really doesn't want to kill his father, but the greater good, he's got to do it to maintain, like Donnie Brasco in Star Wars, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting. It could be, and just because it's something that people have talked about, and just because it might, you might see how it could be that way, doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Like people say with the whole Rey and Luke theory, and just because it's the most obvious way doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. But that's a good thing about it. I really don't know where the hell they're going with this, and that's a really cool thing. I think
for us, for some people, it's like,
yeah. They want to know. They want to know everything. They want to know it now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Here's a question to you: if you could click a button right now and know everything that happens in 8 or 9, would you do it, or would you prefer to wait and experience it when you sit down in that cinema?
Oh, you mean like have access to like the scripts or whatever, and just just not be able to see it, but just know what happens.
Just know what's happening, yeah. Because I wouldn't. That'd be a temptation, but I wouldn't. I prefer to sit down and.
At the very least, the temptation is certainly real. I'll say that without even blinking. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to buy time here while I'm thinking. Anyone else have the same thoughts on Boyhood? I liked it, but it's not a masterpiece. Whiplash and Birdman are better, respectively. I know CP agrees with me on Boyhood. All right, so we're basically closed off on the Star Wars talk. I'll get back to my thought. Luke does not agree with both of us, Jim. Luke, why don't you tell Jim why you like Boyhood?
Oh, do we have to do this again?
Oh, we have an audience this time.
Yeah. I love it. I think it is a masterpiece. I love everything about it, and I just love how it is so uncinematic. I like how it is moments from someone's life which aren't particularly dramatic, and I know that doesn't work to the standard way that you should construct a film in terms of a narrative and the 3-act structure, all that kind of thing. But that's what I love about it, that it is different and that it has a lot of relatability to it that I saw, and from what I heard from other people, different parts of it you can kind of see yourself in it and whatever, and certainly a lot of things in it for me. And yeah, I loved the acting. It was very naturalistic and fun to watch this progress. It wasn't so much about the gimmick of this one kid being the same actor. It certainly helped, but yeah, big fan of it. But I can certainly understand your point of view on it at the same time.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's. I didn't criticize you for either. It's just there's this difference of opinion. Whiplash, Birdman, Boyhood. Those are the ranks from Jim. Yeah, Boyhood. It would have been neat if some of the stuff that happened to him as a child molded him as an adult. That's all. As somebody who's experienced things like when his stepfather beats his mother, and then they just run away, and then next year she's married to a different sort of asshole, and then that's it. It would have been nice to see that impact the boy's character in some way, but it's just it's just noise. Anything that happens around him is noise. But that's when you're being molded as a human, and the things that happen around you really mold you, most especially in that period. So it's just it's just kind of a bummer for me. Like there's so much opportunity to like really, like I dig the idea. Yeah, something over 12 years, watching a child grow, but go full on with it. Let's see how he gets affected by these things. It's just it's just a gimmick. It's just he grows up. There's nothing that changes the way. There's nothing there's like no stakes. His mom gets beat. They have to move. They have to move by the seat of their pants, and that doesn't, like, it's just I can't talk to you with that damn face on. And yeah, so that's it. Just like the Before trilogy better, I'm waiting for Criterion release of all 3 on Blu-ray. I think right now there's only 1. I haven't seen any of the Before movies. I respect people who love Boyhood. I really do. I do too. I mean, there's just something more that I want from it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love Boyhood, but I admire it. The Befores are outstanding. Yeah, I need to see this. See, Linklater is a guy that like really confuses the hell out of me. Like sometimes I feel like there's things that he does that he gets a lot of credit for. I'm like, no, you guys are just kind of brainwashed here a bit. And there's some things where I'm like, yeah, that's goddamn incredible. So I don't know. Like Bernie's an all right movie. It's not a masterpiece in the arsenal of a true cinematic god. Unless Luke, you feel otherwise.
I haven't seen Burn.
No. Okay. Oh, hello, Matthew. We're about to close her down right now. Perhaps rewind it. And how about True Lies on Blu-ray? Oh my God, it is well overdue. Yeah, Matthew, what's your what were the words that were coming out of my mouth? Your feelings on Boyhood. Jeez. Yeah. So otherwise, we're talking about Boyhood now in a Star Wars chat. So, Rotten Crotch.
What?
No,
Okay.
haven't seen it. Okay, good. All right, Luke. So, any last words for the lovely folks here?
60 portions. No, thanks for watching. Thanks again for having me on the chat. It's fun. And that's about it, really. Yeah.
Yep. That's it, guys. Send my Twitter with @WILI Reviews, or even Luke if you want @Razorwire. We're going to talk about franchises next time. We want to do a franchise chat and just like compare franchises. Alien, Die Hard, Terminator, all of it. If you have one you want to see talked about, let me know, let him know, let us know.
Yep.
And we'll talk about it, because it's an idea that certainly can be touched on, and for a bunch of reasons. Back to the Future. And for Luke and Ryan, I'm CP. I'll edit someday. Have a day, folks.